we give extra points for vulnerability here. So I want to ask you each a question, and the more vulnerable you are, the better. And the question is this. Tell me about the lowest point in your life. And you've won all the Academy Awards for the good things you've done and built multi-million-dollar companies, and you shaped the really culture for 2 generations. And what about failure? Did you have something where you failed and just thought?
Yeah, many times.
And what did you learn from that? Like the worst?
Those are the things that make you stronger. You learn more from your mistakes than you do from your successes, always. And that's been true across all the content that I've made over the years. I learned more for the movies and TV shows and animated things that failed than I did from the successes. And so,
like, what's the lowest moment?
Well, probably the lowest moment for me, at least in a very public way, was when I was fired at Disney. At the height of my success in 1994, everything was 10 out of 10. Lion King, Beauty and the Beast on Broadway, Home Improvement TV show. I could go on and on about all of these things that were sort of in my domain, and I got fired.
Doesn't make sense, does
No,
it?
it doesn't make sense in it. So it's Shakespearean. They say you got to go to Shakespeare to figure out why and how. But in any event, it was difficult. It was a very both humbling and humiliating time because it was done unceremoniously. I mean, it was like, get out of here. It was a kick in the butt onto the street from this sort of pinnacle of, running the Walt Disney Studios. So the equivalent of a really, really ugly, nasty personal divorce, right? That's the only thing I could think of that I've seen that would sort of maybe be some relatable parallel thing. And and all I can tell you is that 8 days later, I announced a partnership with David Geffen and Steven Spielberg, and we started DreamWorks.
So a whole 8 days of mourning.
eight days on my butt.
So what goes on in that 8 days that creates this phoenix from the flame?
I told you already, I don't look back. Don't look back, and I look back in learning from it, but I didn't mourn a moment about it. I was like, okay, one door closes and another one opens, and I'm not gonna be captive to something in my past. I'm gonna focus on what's in front of me and look to what I can do. Great. I had a failure maybe 5 years ago. I had this crazy idea about a new form of short form content. It's called Quibi. Raised an incredible amount of money, launched this thing, and in weeks, it was a disaster. It was a failure. And I owned it, right? Like they gave me everything I needed to take a moonshot, and it didn't work. And I always felt it was my failure. It wasn't anybody else's. There were other people that came along for the ride, but I don't blame anybody for anything about it. I own it. I've gotten way, way, way too much credit for the successes in my career, in which case I felt be honorable and own your failure. So if you get more credit than you deserve in your successes, you probably ought to
take the credit for
over. Yeah.
And that last failure, did it humble you? Did it educate you?
Yes, of course. I learned many things from it, and just as a businessman and an entrepreneur and as a storyteller, because I was trying to create a new form of storytelling. And the answer is, of course, I learned many, many things from it, including about myself, in terms of how I managed failure, right? And I was ambitious to manage failure generously, right? And
what does that mean?
I owned it. That was all. It's just,
I love it.
In life, I'm sure if you go back to your things, usually it's like somebody else did this, right?
That's what the big thing, because a lot of people don't own their failure. It's somebody else's fault.
Yeah, no, this is nobody else.
This
is me. But again, my job in my careers and I say careers because I've had multiple careers, including the career today. I'm the, if they make the baseball analogy, I have one lane that I'm pretty good in, which is I'm a home run hitter, right? I'm the guy, ninth inning, 2 outs, bases loaded.
Send up Jeffy.
You're down by 3. What are you going to do? Call me in. And because I love swinging for the fence. That's my happy place, right? And the things that I have done have usually been those types of things. Now, by the way, nobody bats 1,000.
Yeah.
Right? Babe Ruth. I don't care. Pick whoever you want to. No one bats 1,000, including moi. So, but if you don't swing for the fence, if you don't run with the ball, if you don't kick it, if you don't shoot it, you don't score. If you can't score, you cannot win by playing defense. There's no sport in the world that you can win.
This is one of the best things about working with Jeffrey, by the way, is that he's always challenging you to think bigger, right? So I'll come to him with the projects and he's like, why not one step above it? Why not bigger? Like we should be thinking about, legacy business, talking in terms of decades rather than years. And that's been the biggest thing I've learned from him. Think bigger, always.
So if you like that clip, there's a lot more where that came from. So hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell so you won't miss our new videos as they come out each week.